So once again, as I said before, Dillon Gabriel had his first start today. Many fans, believe it or not, was not impressed with his performance. Even Mary Kay threw a slick jab at him, saying he could not get the job done. You won't get the job done throwing little check downs here and there. That will not get it done. It worked today against the Minnesota Vikings, but defenses make adjustments. They will start noticing. They have to use little rollouts to get that Dillon Gabriel vision downfield, being able to see. Dillon Gabriel cannot just sit in the pocket and make reads. If you are a defensive coordinator, you cloud the outside and make him throw. That's where he will struggle. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not hating on the kid, but I'm gonna read out to you.
And we have to sometimes remember that these are very, very young men. People come into the NFL with different levels of maturity. In Tennessee right now, we're hearing Brian Callahan have to stand up there and say that Cam Ward shouldn't have said that his team is ASS, and everybody has different levels of maturity. So
I'll say it if you won't.
these are young guys, and not all of them speak the same way. Now, you looked at Dillon Gabriel, and and he said some things in a very mature fashion, and we've heard other quarterbacks do that. Many other quarterbacks.
Insider Mary Kay makes her little small jab. Browns rookie quarterback Dillon Gabriel unable to finish the job as Vikings win 21-17 on the last play of the game, last drive.
He did. And I'm a Shedeur fan, and I hope he gets a fair chance at some point, somewhere, to maximize his skills, whatever they may be. We won't find out until he has a chance to play. But my disappointment in it was, and I don't know that he made this connection, and this may just be a product of being not yet 25 and your brain isn't fully formed and you don't understand the connection between the things you do and the consequences, but it did overshadow what was supposed to be Dillon Gabriel's day.
Overseas, you guys can see Shedeur Sanders was shown. Tony Grossi made a quick hate towards Shedeur Sanders, talking about they don't know who the starting quarterback is. Listen, it's not a game. Many people want to see Shedeur Sanders. Regardless of where you go, you're going to see him until he gets his shot. Everybody know it. I don't care what the Cleveland Browns does, along with Kevin Stefanski, when it comes to this play calling. You cannot, as can see, Dillon Gabriel is terrible. Shedeur Sanders' best quarterback on the roster. It's not even close. Flacco is done. Someone else says at least Dillon Gabriel played well, not well enough to keep Sanders cut away. Jokes here and there. Dillon Gabriel, as a quarterback, I do hope we see more of him. They fell 21-17, as you guys can see. As we keep scrolling, just showing you guys some of the comments. Can Dillon Gabriel throw more than 5-10 yards? I agree with him 100%. That's all I saw.
Mary Kay Cabot has seen everything that can go wrong with the Cleveland Browns. Coaching disasters, quarterback carousel after quarterback carousel, promising rookies burned by bad systems and worse decisions. But this time, something different happened. After that ugly loss to the Vikings, she didn't just criticize, she exploded. And what she said might have just lit a fire that the Browns can't put out. You don't bench your most talented quarterback for a backup with no rhythm. That one line, that's what broke the internet in Cleveland. Because when Mary Kay Cabot calls you out like that, it means she's done holding back. She's been patient through chaos, loyal through dysfunction, and calm through failure. But even she's had enough. And honestly, she's not alone. Because the moment Dillon Gabriel stepped on that field instead of Shedeur Sanders, fans felt it in their gut. Something was wrong. The energy was gone before the first snap. Gabriel didn't look like a confident quarterback ready to lead a team. He looked like a man praying not to screw up. Every throw was safe. Every drive looked scared. It wasn't football. It was survival. You could see the fear in the way he dumped it off, short on 3rd and long, or hesitated when he had open looks downfield. The Vikings didn't just beat the Browns, they exposed them. And that's where Mary Kay's words hit the hardest. Because this isn't just about one bad game. This is about who this team is choosing to be. And right now, they're choosing fear over potential. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders, the guy who's been hyped up since his Colorado days, stood on the sideline helmet in hand watching the same offense collapse that he could have been leading. Fans remember his poise under pressure, his ability to make big plays look routine, his swagger that lifts the whole team's energy. And now they're asking, why the hell isn't that guy starting? It's not just a fan question anymore, it's a locker room question. Multiple players reportedly feel the same way. If the best guy isn't starting, what message does that send? This isn't college anymore. You don't play favorites. You play the man who can win. But apparently the Browns haven't learned that yet. Mary Kay went off because this feels like deja vu. The Browns always find a way to get in their own way. They have a pattern. They draft talent. They get scared to use it, and they ruin it before it ever has a chance to shine. Baker Mayfield, Johnny Manziel, Deshaun Kaiser. The names change. The script doesn't. Now Dillon Gabriel is being protected like he's the franchise guy. But let's be real. He's not playing like one. He looks overwhelmed. He looks hesitant. And every time he steps on the field, fans can feel that this isn't sustainable. On social media, it's chaos. Browns fans are posting clips, roasting Gabriel's decision-making, calling out the coaching staff for another year of same old Browns. One viral tweet said, "We didn't lose to the Vikings. We lost to our own pride." That's what this is about. Pride. The unwillingness to admit a mistake. And that's exactly why this story is exploding. Because it's not just about who starts next Sunday. It's about whether the Browns have learned anything from their history. You can't tell fans we're building for the future and then sit the guy who is the future. You can't talk about accountability and then reward mediocrity because it's safer. And look, Dillon Gabriel isn't a bad person. Nobody's blaming him for wanting to keep his job. But you can't play quarterback in this league while looking over your shoulder every snap. You can't lead when your confidence is bleeding out through every throw. That's what's happening right now. The Browns are watching a quarterback crumble under pressure, while the guy who could save the season is standing on the sidelines holding a clipboard. Even neutral analysts are starting to speak up. One former player said, "You can't fix a losing culture if your best players are benched to protect the coach's ego." And that's the truth. Because this doesn't feel like football decisions, it feels like politics. It feels like the organization is protecting their pride more than their playoff chances. Mary Kay's explosion ripped the lid off that. She basically said what everyone's been thinking. This isn't just bad coaching, it's self-sabotage. When you bench Shedeur Sanders after one rough week of practice, or one preseason miscommunication, you're not being cautious. You're killing momentum before it even starts. And Cleveland fans, they're done being patient. They've been patient for 25 years. They're not asking for perfection. They're asking for courage. Play the guy who believes in himself. Play the guy who gives you hope. Because right now the Browns have none of that. The locker room's frustrated, the fan base is boiling, and the national media is starting to smell blood. Once that happens, it doesn't go away quietly. There's a reason the phrase Browns curse still gets thrown around. It's not superstition, it's a mindset. The franchise finds ways to implode from the inside, and that's exactly what's happening again. Let's be honest, this isn't even about Shedeur anymore. It's about credibility. The Browns have spent years trying to prove they've changed, that they're a real contender now, that the dysfunction is gone. But this proves it's still alive and well. And you know what's crazy? If Shedeur Sanders had been given the same leash Gabriel has right now, we'd probably be having a very different conversation. The kid's got the tools, the poise, the arm, and the mental toughness to handle the moment. You could see it in college. He thrives under pressure. He wants the big moments. He doesn't hide from them. Compare that to Gabriel, who's now looking over at the sideline after every drive, checking if he's about to be pulled. That's not leadership. That's panic. And that's what Mary Kay was calling out. Not just the quarterback, but the mentality. You can't build a winning team when your decisions come from fear. When you're more worried about being criticized than being great. Every bad throw from Gabriel feels heavier now. Every stalled drive just reminds fans that the better option is sitting right there. This controversy isn't going away. Because once a respected voice like Mary Kay Cabot calls out your staff publicly, there's no pretending everything's fine. She just said out loud what the whole city's been whispering for weeks. The Browns are once again sabotaging themselves. And here's the dangerous part. When the fans turn, they don't come back easy. Cleveland is one of the most loyal, passionate, emotional fan bases in all of sports. They'll ride with you through anything, as long as you fight. But the second they feel you've given up, or worse, you're lying to them, that loyalty flips to rage. Right now, that's what's brewing. This team is one loss away from an all-out fan revolt. The chants for Shedeur are already starting. If Gabriel struggles again next week, it's going to be deafening. And when that happens, the coaching staff won't be able to hide behind excuses anymore. So the Browns have a choice: double down on fear or roll with the guy who gives them life. The guy who makes teammates believe again. The guy who actually plays with fire. Because if they don't make that change soon, this season's going to fall apart. And once it does, you can bet Mary Kay Cabot's rant will be remembered as the moment it all started. The moment the truth finally got too loud to ignore. And maybe that's what Cleveland needs. Not another rebuild. Not another next year. Just honesty. Someone willing to admit that this team keeps tripping over its own ego. The fans deserve better. The players deserve better. And honestly, Shedeur Sanders deserves his shot. Because right now, the Browns aren't just losing games, they're losing faith. And once that's gone, there's no coming back. So yeah, Mary Kay Cabot went off. But maybe, just maybe, she's the only one brave enough to say what everyone's thinking. This isn't a quarterback controversy. This is a franchise running out of excuses.